Hey, what's going on? Welcome to week 3. This week we're going up against DDanley. So jumping right into the prep. Well, first of all, I've noticed and I've heard from people that he's going to be a good battler, so this is going to be a bit of a pain of a battle to get through, I guess. Should be a good match at least. But right away, looking at his team, Breloom and Marowak are two of the biggest obstacles I see, just because Breloom just hits hard with the Mach Punch. The Bullet Seed Technician is going to do a lot of work, and Spore, just putting anything to sleep is going to suck for us. Losing any of our members against this team, which has some pretty decent offenses, with also having to worry about a Clawitzer, a setup Talonflame, Kadabra, Rotom, stuff like that. Getting something like one of our walls put to sleep can be pretty detrimental to us. The Copperja is also there. That's going to be a nice steel type. Set up rocks, take hits reasonably well, especially with an Assault Vest. It can take hits from both sides. I don't know if even Entei can beat that in one hit, though that's not really my goal with it anyways. Talonflame, I've seen run sub bulk up, I think even twice. I think so. I know it ran at least once, so I'm kind of fearing that one a little bit. I sort of have some answers to it, but it could be a bit of a problem still. Rotom being able to defog is going to suck for getting rid of our hazards, but that's mostly fine. I don't know for sure if it's going to come. It could be nice to hit our Mischievous hard. Hex, we don't have that much for Hex, I guess, on the team. I don't think so. I mean, Credilli can take on Rotom if it really needs to. Miltank's going to be milk drinking, going for the heal bell, keeping his team healthy, setting up rocks. You can run Body Slam, Body Press, Seismic Toss. All those, I have a Pokemon that has answers to all of them. I can run Toxic, Thunder Wave, it's going to be a pain to deal with. Kadabra's a nice cleaner, Collects does a lot of damage. Leopard gives him a nice speed tier along with Talonflame, both of them having a way to pivot around if you turn, along with the Rotom and the Clawitzer. This team's pretty good for that, and getting in breakers like Marowak, which hits pretty much all my team. If I didn't have Gastrodon, I wouldn't have much of any answers to this thing. And then finally Articuno. I don't know if Articuno comes, just because my Rotom pretty much stonewalls it, I think, especially if I run Specs or I trick it and get rid of the boots and anything like that. I don't know that Articuno is going to come. It'd be fun to see it. But jumping into my prep, I have Entei here. Entei's coming again. This one's a leftover substitute set. This is specifically because nothing on his team, aside from maybe a bulky Talonflame and Miltank, wants to take a Sacred Fire. Now, as far as the Miltank is concerned, I am specifically running enough HP and defense so that if he goes for a Body Press, if he goes for a Body Slam, if he goes for a Seismic Toss, it shouldn't break my sub here unless he has a decent amount of investment. And I'm also running Pressure just because that way I can force PP stall with some of his moves. I was debating running Protect here because that could have been nice, but I decided Toxic just because that would hit the Talonflame if that wanted to come in and it wasn't like it had a sub up. Don't know for sure how well that will work for us. It also helps with pressuring the Miltank because if we get a Toxic up on that, that's going to be worn down over time. And because Extreme Speed and Sacred Fire both have low power points, I can't exactly spam against the Miltank forever. And the Extreme Speed's there, of course, because that just cleans up anything that Sacred Fire doesn't beat. It's going to be faster Breloom, so if Breloom's weakened, I can just go over E-Speed and take that out. It hits the Kadabra, it hits Leopard, and goes past the Prankster too, so if I think it's going to Thunder Wave as a last-ditch effort, that still gets past that, and just anything else. Well, okay, and then next up is the Gastrodon Max Defensive. This is here just for the, mostly because of the Marowak, because nothing else really wants to take any of the hits from Marowak. I don't know how well that Gastrodon takes it anyways, but it's the only thing I got. It has the, Rindo Berry again, just because I want to be able to take a Seed Bomb from Copperja, so I can take that and then hit it with an Earth Power, and unless it's a, Assault Vest set, it should do a decent amount. Ice Beam is there for nothing really, actually. Maybe I want to change that. Oh no, that's for the Breloom, that's why I have it. Yeah, so Breloom can't come in freely. Spamming Scald would always still be good against it, but if I can just nail it with an Ice Beam, that does a ton of damage and lets me bring in another member that helps deal with that. Credilli is here as a specially defensive wall. To set up rocks, especially defensive, will be able to take stuff like the Clawitzer's hits because it won't be able to go straight for a water move, so no stab to worry about. Kadabra's also probably not going to be having an easy time breaking Credilli. And also deals with the Articuno. I have Rock Slide on it just because I want to be able to break substitutes on Talonflame and pressure that hard. It also lets me hit the Articuno harder, but that's about all I really need the Rock Slide for. Stealth Rock's self-explanatory, just nice for Chip. Chip is always nice. Not going to do much Chip against his team, but because he has a couple of pivots, and if I knock off a Heavy Reboots off a Talonflame, which I don't have any knockoff, but we'll ignore that. But stuff like Clawitzer is still going to be taking damage every time he switches. Miltank, Liepard, Copperja, and Breloom. Negligible mostly, but it's still going to be something, especially if it's an Assault Fest Copperja. Getting damage on it is going to be nice. Garbodor here is to set up Toxic Spikes and Spikes. He has no grounded poison type, so setting up the Toxic Spikes is going to be really nice, especially if I can keep them up. If I can make it so that stuff like Rotom gets punished for going for a Defog, that will be really helpful to me. Because I see Rotom being his defogger, maybe Articuno, but if Articuno comes, that's always a free switch for Entei, and I get a free substitute up, and I can just go from there. And then, also, we have Mischievous here. Mischievous is here just to be a cleric, as usual, pain split on stuff. It's just always going to be nice to have the heal bell in the back. Never hurts. Thunder Wave is also going to be nice status against stuff, especially the stuff that's above the poison or doesn't care about it. If I can Thunder Wave the Kadabra, if I can Thunder Wave the Talonflame, the Articuno, though it might run Heal Bell, any of those are nice to be able to Thunder Wave just to get some stuff off. And it just has Hex as well, just because if I already have stuff poisoned, I'm going to be doing a lot of damage. Even to something like Rotom, Rotom's not that bulky, so Hex is probably going to be a 2-hit, unless it's defensive, or especially defensive. Last but not least is Lycanroc. Blueberry finally making its debut in the league. Just really good coverage here. I actually had Hitmonchan on the team as well, just because it had very similar coverage that could take out the entire team. Close combat, it's Copperja, it hits Miltank, it hits the Liepard, and then the Rock move hits Rock Blast, hits Talonflame and Articuno, and then the Crunch will hit Rotom, Kadabra, and for the most part, that means it has mostly and then it has the Psychic Fangs as well, which hit the Breloom. So that has super effective coverage against most of his team, actually all of his team except the Marowak. So that's really good. And then I have the Chople Berry on there, just so if the Breloom wants to go for a Mach Punch, it does just over 50%. But I'm not really worried about that, because as long as I keep Lycanroc healthy and I only bring it in when I know I'm going to get a kill, I'll keep it healthy enough to steer it away from being revenged by something like a Brave Bird from Talonflame or something from Liepard. I think a knockoff, it's iffy if it'll do enough, especially if I've already burned the Chople. So yeah, I think that's about it. The team looks pretty solid. I'm hoping not to get steamrolled by the Marowak. I'm going to have to be careful around it, but hopefully I can steer clear and mostly play safe against it this game. I guess I'll send a challenge over to DDanley and we'll get into it in just a minute. Alright, so here we are in the game. Looking at his team, I mean, there's no Talonflame, which is going to be nice. Lycanroc's coverage is pretty good. Actually, I guess I didn't note that I don't actually hit the Clawitzer for super effective with it, but everything else is going to be hit super effective, which is really nice. Looking at his team and what he could lead with, I can see Clawitzer starting or Rotom. I don't think either of those deals particularly well with me just setting up a T-Spike turn 1. Like I said, Rotom's his only answer to that, really. And if he goes Rotom, I'll just bring an Entei and sub up. I think it would be pretty alright. I'm running pretty good speed on Entei. I think that's enough for the Rotom, is what I ran on it. So I'll be able to go faster than the Rotom. So it's a spec set, it won't be really a problem. I'm just going to lead Garbodor. He starts Clawitzer. I'm just going to... My two options here are to stay in and take a Rocky Helmet. Oh, I'm running Stench. Why am I running Stench? Whatever. My two options here are to let him take Rocky Helmet if I believe he's going to go for a U-turn. Or I could predict a Water Pulse and go into my Gastrodon, I can spam a pretty nice, hefty Scald if I do that. I'm Sticky Hold. Why? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this to myself? Oh no. Sorry, Credillion spam Giga Drain. Whatever. I want to get a Toxic Spike off. He does do the U-turn, which I was mostly expecting. Kadabra comes in here. Having that Toxic Spike up should be nice over the course of the game, as I'm going to set up some rocks. Here goes Copperja. You could go for a Heavy Slam here. Do I see him Earthquaking this turn? I don't know that I do. If he goes for Earthquake on Entei, that does a lot of damage. If he goes for a Grass move, the Seed Bomb, I don't think that, okay. I actually don't have the team up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. Whoops, wrong thing. I should have the calculator ready, probably. So I'm going to clear custom sets. Refresh the page. Whoops. Drop that in. Show only custom. Credillion versus a Copperja. Oh, you Assault Vest. Heavy Slam does a lot. I'm not staying in for a Heavy Slam. So I'm just going to go Entei here. If he wants to go for an Earthquake, he does. It does a lot. But Sacred Fire is pretty free here. If he goes into anything, really, he's going to be poisoned. If he goes into the Clawitzer, and that's going to do a lot. That was a good play by him. I should have expected the Earthquake, but like I said, I couldn't afford to take a Heavy Slam on Credillion. Gastrodon would have been a nice mid-ground. And no real reason not to go into Garbodor here. I'm kind of surprised he's just let the hazard stay up. And if he wants to defog, like, sure, get rid of the rocks that hurt my Entei. I'm fine with that. I'm going to keep on setting up these hazards, though. Right here, I'm going to go for the Giga Drain. This Copperja comes in. This time he could definitely go for something else. I'm going to bring in Mischievous. This might have been a terrible play, as I don't know that it was, because I get the Pain Slit here. I'm going to lose Mischievous, but I get a lot of damage off. And the most important thing here is I don't think Miltank can come in and take a Sacred Fire plus an Extreme Speed. So that puts us in a really nice position. He can go Clawitzer here. Right now, what we're really doing is we're trying to bring everything just low enough that Lycanroc can come in and finish the game. As he lets us take this down. It does kind of suck, actually, that can't get rid of the Credillion's, Okay, right here, I'm going to Extreme Speed because I want to break any potential Focus Sash. Because now we're going to be faster. And this is a pretty free crunch. What I could also test is I could try... Oops. No, I should just go Crunch. Because if Breloom comes in here, I should still check. Oh, you Subseed because we just want the maximum amount to calc against. Psychic Fangs might actually finish it off. after hazards and a bit of poison damage. Either way, I'm going to go hard Garbodor because he doesn't have a perfect answer to that anymore. If he puts it to sleep, it's not really a problem because the point of Garbodor at this point would just to be get off the hazard damage, let some of that sink in some more. And I'm just going hard into Credilli. Aura Sphere comes out. I feel like I'm playing this very poorly here at the end. At the same time here, Lycanroc just comes in here and close combat should finish a Clawitzer, right? Oops. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Wait, he's Scarf? No, I was not expecting Scarf. That's actually not good at all. No, that might have thrown us the game. I thought he could be Specs or something. I wasn't expecting Scarf. Oh no! I think that might be game because there's I don't think I beat the Breloom anymore. Unless he chokes, I don't think I win this. No! I mean, it is what it is. Scarf Clawitzer is pretty good, now I think about it. It's nice for picking off the Entei. Scarf is faster than the Lycanroc. I'm just going for Psychic Fangs here. Oh, I could... If I think he's gonna go for the Mach Punch here, I could go into my Garbodor and get some residual damage on it. I know that Lycanroc can't come back in. He's... Oh! Okay, that's really good. And he's just putting everything kind of in range. I'll let him finish this. And now this time there is no play but to go Breloom. So okay, there is actually a way to cheese this and win. He goes for Mach Punch, gets a ton of damage on himself. This is the turn that I should expect him to go. If he goes for a Bullet Seed here, it accomplishes pretty much nothing, which is why I want him to go for the Spore. If he goes for Spore here, it's really good for us. I see Rock Tombs. I think that might be game, because he can't come back in again. That was perfect, so I didn't even have my Gastrodon put to sleep. Okay, that was really good. If he went for Spore there, Poison and everything would have finished him, so I had no problem doing that. So the Clawitzer almost tricked us up. I'm gonna go Lycanroc here. And he dies to that now. I'm gonna bring in this first. I'm gonna try and choose for a Poison. That's about all I have to do. Rotom doesn't have any good form of recovery. I don't think it can beat both of our members too, just because Gastrodon's that naturally bulky. And okay, so he does beat that in one hit. Okay, I'm gonna assume Specs. So let's go Gastrodon versus a Rotom. Choice Specs. 40, 51. So I have to beat it with this move. As we do. Nice. GG. Well played. So close. I thought I lost that game. But Gastrodon pulling it through. Garbodor dancing around. I think that went really well. I don't know if any member of my team was the star of this game. Lycanroc was cool. Yeah. Kinda had to. I'll see if I can get a post-match recording. If I can't, this is it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. But if I can get a post-match recording, I'll be with him in a moment. Alright, welcome one and all. I have stolen the Danley away for the post-match recording, so I guess we just jump right into it. You want to go first with what you thought? I mean...
Hey, I thought it was a fantastic game. I thought came down to it late game. It could have gone either way. I think the prediction with the staying in with the Lycan Rock on the Breloom, I think that was the difference because the damage on Rotom there was huge.
I thought it was done. I thought I was done. I thought the game was over, actually. I was about to go into Garbodor thinking that, okay, I can get a little bit of Rocky Helmet chip. Maybe I'll be able to cheese this. But then I thought, no. The easy play for him is to Mach Punch, actually. Like, you could have
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was going to Mach Punch there because I knew you outsped, but... was going to Mach Punch, but then I was like, well, that's going to do nothing to the Garbodor coming in. He's going to get the Rocky Helmet chip. He's going to get the poison damage racking up. And so I was like, I really thought you were going to make the Garbodor play. So I decided to go ahead and pull the switch, and obviously it ended up being the wrong call. But
yeah, no, really, actually, yeah. I thought I lost that game.
Yeah, and I knew Rotom could do a lot late game, and in hindsight, should have said, well, kill the Lycan Rock because it can't come back in on rocks. And I was Specs Rotom, so it was going to hammer both the Gastrodon and the Garbodor. So in hindsight, yeah, the smart play there is to Mach Punch every time, but I just got a little ahead of myself.
Yeah, no. I mean, even after that, you had a good shot, but that's why I kind of played around. That's part of the reason I went hard Gastrodon on... I believe I went hard Gastrodon back on your Rock Tomb near the end. Because I figured that, if Gastrodon gets spored, then you can't put my Garbodor to sleep, and that puts Garbodor in a good position against... No, sorry, I had Gastrodon... What was it that I did? I don't remember actually the last couple times.
Let's see. After you stayed in with the stayed in and Psychic Feigned with the Lycan Rock on the switch in, then I went hard Miltank just to sack it off at that point because it wasn't doing much for me. You end up killing it with Crunch. Then I went back into Breloom. That time you do go into the Garbodor on the Mach Punch. Get the Rocky Helmet chip. Then you turned around.
Poison.
Yep, you turned around and went straight into the Gastrodon on the Rock Tomb, and then back into the Lycan Rock to sack it off so I couldn't get a hit off on the Gastrodon.
Yeah, and then Poison finished you that turn, and then it was just a matter of hoping that I survived a Spec Shadow Ball.
Yep, and that's exactly what I was. Timid Specs was what I was running with the Rotom.
Yeah, I think the big thing for your team in this game, no defog really hurt you.
I didn't bring defog. I thought about bringing defog on the Rotom over the Trick, but I knew poison spikes were a possibility. But the team that I brought in team preview, I was thinking, well, he could very well see up to 4 possible toxic spike immunities. Simply because Rotom, Kadabra, and Capraja were, and then Breloom could be Poison Heal. It was Technician, but...
And Talonflame was up in the air as well.
Yeah, and I would have had Talonflame or Articuno off the ground, which both of those, the Lycan Rock just ran through. And I thought about for a little bit bringing Defog on one of them with boots, but then I was like, well, that's a free Lycan Rock every time that they're on the field and he's switching. So,
yeah,
that was what deterred me from those. The 2 4 times weaknesses to rocks can be hurtful, but I haven't had a problem with it until I run into a Lycan Rock. Like, that's really because you get priority rock moves there.
Yeah, and I didn't even... did I even post my Pokepaste in the Discord, actually?
I did not see it. So did you not have the Accelerock?
I did not.
Wow.
I was running Rock Blast instead because I wanted to break a substitute on Talonflame if you wanted to try and set up with that on my Entei or something.
Makes sense.
Thinking I don't have Stone Edge, because you could bank on that. Like, you could always scout it with a sub either way.
Sure,
and Entei wasn't running the Stone Edge. I was running Toxic and Substitute.
The Choppleberry was big too because that lets you get rid of the Clawitzer there because it was doing big damage.
Yeah, no, right at the end of the game too, because I thought that, like, I had that for the Breloom actually, because I could Psychic Fang after and finish it if I got some chip off on Breloom. So it was just my way of preventing Breloom from being pretty much the one thing that would stop Lycanroc, the other being a Thunder Wave from Liepard, or I suppose a Choice Scarf Clawitzer.
Hey, it's funny, I drafted that thing late, and I've brought it to all 3 games, and it has been scarfed every week.
Yeah. You see, I remembered there being a bulk up Talonflame, but I didn't remember there being a Scarf Clawitzer.
I have actually, it's funny, I've led Scarf Clawitzer in every game so far this season. It's just had a pretty good matchup for the most part. And even here, I mean, you had the 2 water immunities, but your 2 biggest hitters being the Entei and Lycanroc, it definitely, I was like, I've got to bring this thing.
Yeah, and I don't remember if that was purposeful or not, but I actually I had Sticky Hold on Gastrodon, so I didn't even have the Storm Drain.
Wow, yeah.
I don't remember why I had Sticky Hold. Oh, sorry, it was so you couldn't knock off the Rindo Berry, so that way if you went for a Seed Bomb with Copperja, I could still live.
Yep. Yeah, and actually, I would imagine it still lives it, but I'll check. I had the Power Whip on the Copperajah, but I would imagine Gastrodon still, with a Rindo, it still takes 1.
Yeah, and then my idea was Earth Power after that would do a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Really surprised you didn't bring the Marowak.
So I thought Marowak was one of the ones that I really thought about bringing in. And from an offensive perspective, it absolutely did a ton. Obviously, it hits the Lycanroc, it hits the Garbodor, hits the Entei. The one reason that I kind of steered away from it was, in reality, a banded Entei just comes in on it if it kills something and just blows it back. I'm pretty sure banded Sacred Fire just OHKOs Marowak, yes.
No way.
It does not have nearly the defense that you would think.
I'm gonna do 252 Adamant.
So it's not an OHKO, but it's very. If I'm max offensive, it does. It does 86
OHKO.
min. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I was not expecting that at all.
And Entei was the thing that, I mean, Miltank was the only switching I had to it. The only thing on my entire team that could reliably take a hit from it was Miltank. It was in my entire draft. Entei is the one mon in this league, which I still don't know how Breloom and Entei are allowed in a tier 3 and below league. But
I don't know how Galarian Moltres is allowed in the lower tiers.
Yeah, that thing's a monster
of this league. Why is it not in tier 1?
Right. But I mean, Breloom and Entei are both absolute monsters, and on my team, I mean, you look, what, Talonflame could probably take a Sacred Fire, but it's not taking a Stone Edge, and nothing else really. I mean, even Clawitzer's a resist, and pretty sure it's got a chance to kill. If not, it gets very, very close.
Mm-hmm.
Which you ended up bringing so even Clawitzer is 2-hit KO'd by a resisted fire move from a banded Entei.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I really didn't have switch-ins to it, and that was why I actually led the Clawitzer, actually hoping you would see team preview. Hey, nothing takes a Sacred Fire here other than the Miltank. I'm just going to lead it. And hoping and actually, if you led Entei, I wasn't even going to go straight for the attack. I was going to predict the Gastrodon coming in and you turn out, but
I made
Garbodor.
I made the big boy play.
The Garbodor
it is such a free water pulse, but he can still expect me to go into one of those two, and I have the Rocky Helmet. Stay in, go for the T-Spikes, start the game off on a good with the advantage and just get that Rocky Helmet chip off.
No, and that was great. And like I said, T-spikes weren't something I was terribly fearful of, and in general, my team isn't terribly scared of them. And even in this matchup, four of the mons that I brought had, like I said, had the possibility of being immune. Obviously, the Breloom wasn't because I brought the technician set, but it very well can run poison heal. So, I'm not super fearful of them, but as you see here, it made a difference in the end because it didn't really affect. Well, it affected my switch-ins with the number of switch-ins I had with Miltank, and then the Breloom it wore down. But it was a great bring and definitely helped out in the end.
Yeah, no, you didn't really. The thing too is that you didn't have much for hazards. So if I hazard stacked you, the worst you could do back is you can set up rocks. I don't really care about rocks except with Entei, which I mean, I do especially care about it in this game comparatively to normal because I was running leftovers over boots. But even if you brought rocks, not really a big concern to me. I didn't feel because looking at my team, yes, everything gets chipped a little bit, but everything except the Lycan Rock has recovery.
Right, and see that's the thing with my team. You look at my team and you see 2 times 4 rocks weaknesses, but in reality here, I mean, Copper Roger is immune to the T spikes and resist the rocks. Kadabra's immune to all of it. Breloom resists the rock switch in. Rotom only takes the rocks. It's immune to anything on the ground. So, yes, I have very limited removal. I mean, you have Rotom and then 2 times 4 rock weaknesses is my only removal on the team. But overall, I'm not super weak to hazards. But the little bit of chip definitely made the difference here.
I feel like something you could struggle with in the future is sticky webs, though. Just because that lowers everything down to besides your stuff in the air, which is weak to rocks, everything else gets slowed.
It does. I have some priority to counteract that with a Mach Punch on a Breloom, for example. And I think the mons that would hurt the most from a webs, obviously the way I've run Clawits or being scarfed, it would be hindered by webs, and
Kadabra would basically be
Kadabra would be
weight.
very much hindered. Yeah, and it was funny. I actually, I don't know if you had a chance to look yet at the team, but I actually had Sash counter Kadabra in case I just got in one-on-one on an Entei, and you're thinking, well, let me just blow this thing back. It's only going to be able to do so much back to me, and then I can pick it off with an extreme speed. I was like, well, let me just throw counter, because really Psychic and Shadow Ball was all the coverage that I needed on the Kadabra.
I was actually surprised by no Energy Ball in that case.
I thought about Energy Ball, but in the end I had double grass moves. I had the Breloom, and I had the Power Whip on Caparaja, and felt pretty good there. And then I knew if you were built to take those hits, then Rotom's gonna absolutely, no doubt, 2-hit KO with the Spec Shadow Ball.
And you had the trick on there too, which could have been nice for some of my members. Actually, pretty much nothing on my team wanted to get tricked to specs. Nothing appreciated it.
Yeah, I thought it would be very good, because Gastrodon, if you're expecting an electric move, will be a great switch in. Cradilly as well could be a great. Cradilly is actually a great switch in general to Rotom, just because it's so especially bulky.
Yeah, no, really, really happy with that pickup actually.
Yeah, it's a great mod. I've drafted it once before and got some cheese with 2 Ancient Power boosts in the same game with it.
Nice.
So that was pretty fun to use. But it's a very fun mod, especially low tier. Gives you rocks, gives you a water immunity. It's just a really solid, it's not an elite grass type by any means, but definitely a solid pick.
All right, well, we're sitting at 15 minutes for the post-match now, so we've been here for a bit. So I think I'll just end the recording here.
All right, that sounds good.
So thanks to y'all for watching. Video should be up this evening, I'm hoping. like, subscribe, yada yada yada. Goodbye.